Hey everyone, it's Dr. Amy Abelar, and this is another video in our series, The Intersection of Motherhood and Entrepreneurship. And this video is going to cover a piece of advice that was honestly the best piece of advice that one of my really good friends gave me before I had my first son. And I want to pass it along to you. So, for some of you, this is a no-brainer. For others of you, we are hustlers, we are workers, we are people pleasers, and we have a really hard time taking time off and saying no to clients. We can also have a really hard time saying no to money. And what I mean by that is I'm talking about the time frame before the baby is born. So if you're on state disability, you can take up to 4 weeks off prior to that baby being born. So usually at like 36 weeks is when state disability approves you to be able to be considered on state disability. And if I remember correctly, if you don't take those weeks in the front, you don't get to add them on the back end. Now, other private disability insurance might be different. State disability in your area might be different. But as an example, the weeks that you get leading up to the baby being born or leading up to your due date, you don't get those back, right? And when I say the baby being born, I'm talking about the due date, right? We don't know exactly when baby's going to be born usually, but we do know what the expected due date is. So when you reach 36 weeks pregnant in some states, you will be able to start taking maternity leave. Now, I didn't take the full 4 weeks. I knew that I would kind of go stir crazy, but I did take 2. And I really honestly debated working up until I gave birth. I talked to a friend of mine and I was very nervous about taking maternity leave. And some of you are going to be nervous about it from a money standpoint. One of my reasons why I was nervous about it was because I felt really bad about taking maternity leave and leaving clients without me as their acupuncturist for a certain period of time. I know that I had a lot of patients who didn't want my maternity leave to be a really long time. I had a lot of patients who were how long are you going to take? When are you going to be back? Are you going to come back part-time? Like maybe you come back partway through, all of the things which I've got answers to that stuff in other videos. But one of the things that one of my really good friends told me, which I really appreciated, was she looked at me and she goes, Amy, she goes, you're seriously debating going into labor treating patients, like working as late as you can up until you give birth. And I was like, yeah, absolutely, because I'm going to take time off afterwards. And if I had to choose between taking time off before and taking time off after, like I'd rather take the time off afterwards. And she's like, yeah, but think about the fact that your maternity leave once this baby is born is not a vacation time. It is time that you are bonding with your baby, navigating things with your husband, figuring out this whole new life cycle, not sleeping, diaper changing, breastfeeding, all of the things. It's not vacation time. She's like, this couple of weeks right before you have this baby is a maternity leave like no other. And she's like, and even if you have future maternity leaves, this first one is going to be its own special thing, because in subsequent maternity leaves, you'll have another baby to take care of, another toddler, another child. But this first maternity leave, you're not going to have anybody else to take care of prior to that baby being born except yourself. And she's like, you have worked your butt off for so long. You deserve to take this time, this little pause in preparation before your life is changed forever moving forward, right? And I really appreciated her telling me that, because in some weird way, I needed permission. And I know some of you, again, that are watching this are like, what the heck? I don't need permission. Heck yeah. As soon as I hit that 36-week mark, if I'm allowed to take, state disability, I'm out of there. Others of you are feeling the same way that I felt, where you feel bad for taking that time off from patients and you need someone to kind of remind you or give you permission or encourage you to take that time for yourself before the baby's born. Because at the end of the day, an extra 2 or 3 weeks is, it's not going to be the end of the world for patients, but you won't ever get that opportunity again, right? Again, especially if it's your first, you won't get that chance again. So take that time. It's well-deserved. If you can afford to take it, and then enjoy it. One of the days I ended up binge watching an entire season of a new show. And it was so funny because my husband came out and he's like, "What the heck? You're still on the couch and you're still watching the same show?" I go, "Yeah, what else do I have to do?" Right? So, once I got further on and I only had a few episodes left, I said, "You know what? I'm going to watch the whole season just because I can." And I did. So I finished like a 10 episode season, rotted on the couch all day, took breaks for, food, bathroom breaks, getting water, that kind of a thing. But I watched an entire season in a day, and I had never ever done that before. And I can tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was something so empowering about having this freedom of time that I had never really allowed myself to have before, right? I could have done that before, but I didn't. I was worried about building my business, growing my business, accommodating clients, accommodating other people. And that time I decided, I'm going to take 2 weeks before the due date, and this is just going to be my time. And so thankful to my sweet friend who shared that advice with me. And I want to share that advice with you. Again, this is just one of our videos in our series on the intersection of motherhood and entrepreneurship. I hope that you stick around for more videos, and I'll see you there.